Hello, in this video we're going to talk about body fluid compartments and also touch on electrolytes. The body can be divided into solids and water. Solids make up about 40 to 50%, depending if you're male or female. Water accounts for about 60% of the total body weight for an adult male and 50% of that for an adult female. This difference between the sexes reflects the proportionality of larger mass of adipose tissue in adult females and the greater average muscle tissues in adult males. Solids are things such as protein, lipids, carbs, and minerals. In this example, the total volume of water is that of an average adult male and is about 40 liters. The total body water is distributed into two fluid compartments, the extracellular fluid, ECF, and the intracellular fluid, ICF. ECF is about 1/3 of total body fluid, which means about 15 liters, let's just say. The ICF is 2/3 of total body fluid, which is about 25 liters. ECF can be further divided into the plasma, which is fluid in the circulation. Fluid in the circulation make up about 20% of the extracellular fluid. The remaining 80% is found in the interstitium, which is fluid found between the cells. The intracellular fluid, ICF, is basically fluid that's inside the cell, and as mentioned, is where most of the total body fluid is found. Inside the cell means basically where the nucleus is, and again, the nucleus holds the cell's DNA. We mainly get fluid from drinking water and eating food. And so the main fluid input is basically from the gastrointestinal tract. We need roughly 2,500 mils per day, which is required to balance your average water loss. And of course, water enters firstly the extracellular fluid first from the gastrointestinal tract. Water can then move between the different fluid compartments in the body like so. Intracellular fluid contains 2/3 of the total body water. And again, extracellular fluid contains the rest, only 1/3. Really important to understand that water moves passively between fluid compartments, either via channels or between cells. No need for active transport. No need to spend energy to move water between fluid compartments. Movement of water occurs passively in response to osmotic gradients. To demonstrate this concept, imagine a jar like this represents your body. A semi-permeable membrane separates the jar into two compartments. You have more solids on the right compartment, and through osmotic gradient principle, fluid will shift to the area with more solutes, and this is osmosis. We talked about fluid input through the gastrointestinal tract. Fluid output occurs through other routes, the kidneys, the gastrointestinal tract, the lungs, and the skin. You lose about 2,500 mils of water each day. Sometimes fluid accumulates in the interstitium, for example, due to disruption in solute concentration across the plasma and the interstitial space. The body has ways to fix this, and this is through the lymphatics. Fluid may also travel from the interstitial space, to the plasma through the lymphatic vessels that drain into the venous circulation. Let's now talk about electrolytes. Now we have many electrolytes that are distributed throughout the body's compartments. In the extracellular fluid, we can find sodium, potassium, calcium, and chloride, which can move between the plasma and the interstitium via semi-permeable membranes. The concentration of electrolytes in the plasma and the interstitium is about the same. For example, sodium in blood is about 145 millimoles per liter. Potassium is 4, calcium is 2.5, and chloride is 115 on average. Electrolytes can't just move through the lipid membrane between the extracellular fluid and the intracellular fluid. They often rely on transport channels. For example, sodium and potassium move via sodium-potassium pumps, where 3 sodium is transported out of the cell in exchange for 2 potassium inside the cell. This type of channel requires ATP. This sort of mechanism allows the different gradient of ions across the body compartments. Because inside your cell you have 12 millimoles per liter of sodium, and potassium you have 155 millimoles per liter. Intracellular calcium is less than 0.5 and chloride is 4. You can see straight away that the main cation in the extracellular fluid is sodium. The main cation in the intracellular fluid is potassium. The main anion in the extracellular fluid is chloride, and the main anion in the intracellular fluid are the negatively charged proteins, but the main electrolyte is phosphorus. Proteins are also found in the plasma, but not in the interstitium, not in the interstitial fluid. The main protein found in plasma is albumin, and albumin helps maintain the osmotic gradient, helps keep water in the blood vessels. Phosphorus in the phosphate form is the main anion in the intracellular fluid. Other important negatively charged ions are bicarbonate, which is very important in acid-base balance. These electrolyte levels are very important to know and understand, because if, for example, you have high concentrations of calcium or potassium in plasma or in the extracellular fluid, cardiac arrhythmias can develop and death can result. All the homeostatic mechanisms that monitor and adjust the composition of body fluids responds to changes in the extracellular fluid, not the intracellular fluid. In summary, sodium is the main extracellular fluid cation. Chloride is the main extracellular fluid anion. Potassium is the main intracellular fluid cation. Phosphate or phosphorus is the main intracellular fluid anion. And bicarbonate is important in acid-base balance.